Hey guys, today's story is about a DM that can't rein in his players, and a PC that gets murdered because he just wanted to roleplay. So this is from a campaign from almost a year ago. The retail gods had seen fit to grace me and my fiancé, as well as 2 other couples, the same day off, so that we could play D&D together. Out of the 6 of us, the DM and I were the only real experienced players. I knew that role-playing is sometimes a challenge for newbies, so the DM and I came up with a plan for my character to try to help everyone get out of their comfort zones a bit, and by this, I mean just pushing them to roleplay, nothing horrific. So I made my character an elven cleric who'd spent her life in a temple, being treated like royalty since she was considered to be the chosen one from some prophecy. When she came of age, it was revealed that she was in fact not the chosen one and was immediately kicked out of the temple. My plan was to play her as an incredibly sheltered girl who had been waited on nearly hand and foot for her entire life. So she would be very naive and spoiled. Of course, as the adventure went on, she would grow and change into a better person. I discussed this briefly with my party, wanting to make sure that they were okay with a party member that wasn't going to be 100% cooperative in the beginning. They said it was fine, and so the campaign started. Things went well at first. My character stumbled into a bar and overheard a conversation about a resistance to a church that was seemingly up to no good. I ended up joining the resistance, and the other party members did as well. We were given a map to the resistance hideout in a nearby forest. Everybody loved my character's incredulous reaction to having to walk to the hideout, as opposed to taking carriages like normal. Along the way, we roleplayed, and my character was terrified of the tiefling because they were a big demon-looking thing, and annoyed by the halfling, who was the party jokester. But we were having a great time. Eventually, we get ambushed by a group of goblins. During the fight, my cleric didn't do much beyond cast Bless a couple of times and healing a scratch the barbarian got. Much eye-rolling and shouts of "What?" ensued as my character did her best to avoid melee combat. Later that night, after the session ended, the DM texted me with a list of complaints from some of the group about my character and her actions during combat. We met up a week later, and had a discussion about my character. I apologized to the group and explained in greater detail my plan for the cleric. I reminded everyone that we were level 1, and at level 1, I was useless as a melee fighter because I only had 9 HP, and that I didn't shy away from healing and buffing the party. They didn't seem over the moon by me sticking to my character, but they agreed. Fast forward to the next combat, and we have a run-in with some low-level bandits, who begin combat by hurling insults at us. My cleric passed the check to not be intimidated, and combat began. Following the advice of some friends, I decided the cleric would at least try to do some damage this combat, role-playing it as her enraged from the insults from the bandits. So I cast Guiding Bolt, go to make my attack roll, and I roll a nat 1. The DM does a great job of describing it as the flame fizzling out an inch away from her palm, and is met with laughter from the bandits. I roleplayed that with the cleric losing her confidence, and basically resorting to the same tactics as the first combat. Again, I'm met with the shouts and general outrage from some of the group. I try to remind them of the conversation we'd had just a few hours before, but I got shouted down. After a few more rounds of combat, when my turn came up, I just took the dodge action. The party's health was nearly full, I had Bless going, and I was trying to stay in character. The ranger's turn was next. He looked at me and said,
"Screw this, I shoot the cleric,"
and rolled his dice. Now, we had agreed beforehand that as soon as the dice are tossed, that's it. No taking actions back. No do-overs. So I sat in silence while the ranger rolled a 17, and then a 19. Most definitely a hit. He rolls his d8, and he gets a 7 plus 3. So I immediately go down. At this point, I just started packing my stuff up. I felt almost sick to my stomach, and I could feel a lot of old social anxiety feelings creeping in. The DM tried to intervene, saying he'd let me stabilize without making any death saves. I calmly told him I'd pass and left, leaving my character sheet on the table. The DM texted me later that night, apologizing, but I told him it wasn't his fault that the group was acting like that. But I did mention that he might want to stop his players from murdering each other in future campaigns. Honestly, this kinda killed D&D for me, at the very least for now. I was really excited about my character, and I had a really good plan in mind for their development. To have a group decide for me that that wasn't okay, and that I had to play it like it was Final Fantasy, where everyone participates in combat regardless of their personality, has me feeling like it wasn't worth the effort. Well guys, first things first, the DM immediately should have stomped that out. Secondly, the ranger was obviously not a very good player either. The only other thing I can think of is if this happens in a game that you're in, bring it up, and if it continues, leave it, because it's not going to stop. It isn't worth you getting aggravated. Or like this story and many others like it, losing any real desire to play the game ever again.
But in any case, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have a story that you'd like me to narrate, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.